Hello, I'm Trisha Ghosh. I am a mortgage loan officer here in Austin, Texas, and I've been doing mortgages for a little under 10 years. My big thing is I always want to make sure that all of my buyers understand all of their options and that I can help them make this financial decision for themselves of how to structure the loan and which loan product to use and just really the whole process and make sure they feel comfortable with everything there. So today I wanted to shoot a video about pre-qualification and why that's so important and just kind of a guide to helping you with the pre-qualification. So let's talk about what pre-qualification even means, why it's important, how to get pre-qualified, and then the next steps after you get that pre-qualification. So pre-qualification is just a preliminary assessment of your financial situation to figure out how much can you afford? What is your buying power? And we look at things like income, assets, your debts, and what your credit score is. So we're going to look at all those and we come up with an estimate. It's not a commitment exactly. We're not guaranteeing that you're going to get the loan or anything like that at the pre-qualification stage. It's just, yep, everything looks good. I think we're good to keep moving forward. Here's how much you should qualify for. And then the why is pre-qualification important? You want to make sure that you understand what your buying power is. That's the biggest thing. You need to know what your budget is. So if you go and look at a neighborhood that has these beautiful, amazing homes in the location that you want, it's so great, and you have your heart set on that neighborhood, and then you go do the pre-qualification and you realize that that neighborhood's a little bit out of your reach. You're not going to be comfortable or you're not going to qualify for a monthly payment in that price range. And then every other house you look at is kind of tainted, right? So come get the pre-qualification first. Make sure that you understand how much you can afford, and then go look at houses. And that's going to help you save time too, because you'll be able to eliminate certain pockets or neighborhoods or different just price ranges that you can't necessarily afford. And so you can focus your time on finding things that are within your budget. Whenever you do submit your offer to buy a home to the listing agent, most of the time those listing agents are going to require a pre-qualification or pre-approval letter at the same time as your offer. So if you find that home that you really want, you want to be able to just move quickly and move forward and put the offer in instead of having to go get the pre-approval done now, right? Like you need to have that already done, get that out of the way before you even go look at houses so that you're ready to move forward once you do find that home that you want. Because our pre-qualifications are good for a significant amount of time. So you have months to find that perfect home. It's not going to expire in a week or two or anything like that. So you're absolutely fine to go play once you and go search for homes once you get that pre-qualification done. And getting the pre-qualification helps identify any potential issues. I cannot tell you how many times I have pulled credit on a borrower and I look and their credit score is a little lower than what they told me that they thought that their credit score was. And then I go and look through the credit report and, oh, yep, there's a collection that's popped up. The most recent one I had was, it was from 4 years prior that had just then popped onto his credit report. It was from a roommate 4 years ago in an apartment complex that didn't pay a bill after they moved out. And they just hadn't been able to contact anybody. So it jumps on your credit report. So things like that, like you just need some time to be able to take care of that so that your credit score can pop back up. And if you're already under contract and you're trying to get approved and you have 30 days to close, there's not enough time to do all those things. So you always want to start with a pre-qualification and make sure that we have time to take care of any potential issues that may pop up. All right, so how to actually do the pre-qualification. You want to first start with a lender, contact somebody like me that can walk you through the process and guide you to understand what are your loan options? Why is this loan program better than this one for me? What happens if I put this much down versus that much down? Just what are the options, right? Have somebody like me to be able to go through that with you. And we're going to ask you to fill out an application. So we'll ask questions about your income, your employment details, your address history, your credit history. We're going to pull that credit report, and we're going to look at your assets, how much money you have in the bank, and any debts that you have. Then once I get a chance to review everything, I will estimate how much you can actually qualify for and give you that pre-approval letter is the goal, right? So awesome. Some of the common mistakes that I see borrowers make, and I want to make sure that you're not one of these people. So not checking your credit beforehand. So that like a lot of times when I have collections pop up, those borrowers had not checked their credit before. They had no idea that was on their credit to be able to take care of it before they even got to me. So there are places where you can go and get a free credit report that's a soft pull once a year for all your different trade bureaus, and you can check your credit to make sure there's nothing fraudulent on there and that everything is the way it's supposed to be. A lot of people don't understand their debt to income ratio before they come to me, and they think that they can either qualify for way more than what they actually can, or sometimes even way less than what they actually can. So I'll definitely help you understand how to calculate your debt to income ratio and what is a good monthly payment that you can afford and that you would qualify for. And sometimes I see people making large purchases like a brand new truck or a um, new camper or RV or boat or something like that. And those large purchases, if they finance those are going to go on your credit. And that's a large debt that we're now going to have to count in your debt to income ratio. So maybe hold off on any of the large purchases if you're looking to buy a home, and we can discuss how that's going to impact things if it's something that you really want to do before you buy. And then changing jobs and income types before getting a loan. This is another one. Mortgages are regulated, and so there's certain rules and guidelines that we have to follow, and not all of them always make a lot of sense and common sense. Well, I make this much money into my bank account every month. Well, but on paper, you make this much. Or if your income is variable, things like that, we have to maybe get an average of 2 years of that income. And so it's not what you're making now, it would be average. So there's lots of different income scenarios. And this is another reason why you should definitely get pre-qualified so that that lender can look at your specific financial situation and help advise you on how you can move forward and what your income is going to look like. So, yeah. So the next steps after you get pre-qualified, we want to take it that next step and do an actual pre-approval. So pre-qualification is just, yep, everything looks good on paper. Pre-qualification, I'm actually going to get your documents, and I'm going to like documents like paycheck stubs and W-2s and bank statements. And then I'm going to send your file into underwriting as well for them to put their stamp of approval on, at least a pre-approval for that before the house is attached to the loan. And so then once you get that pre-approval, that's even a stronger letter. And so that's definitely something that I want to do as a lender to make sure that I never want to give a pre-qualification even for anyone that's not going to actually qualify. If there's some question of whether this income is going to be counted or that things are going to be able to work out this way, I'm going to send your file in for a pre-approval before we ever even give you a pre-qualification or anything like that to make sure that you're going to qualify. Because I would hate for you to get through this process and then not qualify at the end. So we definitely want to make sure that everything looks good and get that deep financial check but for that strong commitment on the pre-approval. And then you get to work with your real estate agent after we do that pre-approval, and that's where they'll help you start house hunting. You can give them the parameters of what you want in the house and just go look for houses. That's kind of the fun part. And then submitting the offer, your realtor will help you submit the offer. And once that offer is accepted and everybody has signed all the documentation, then I need a copy of the contract, and I put everything into my system, and we kind of flip the switch and move forward on the loan approval. All right. So thank you so much for watching my video. And if you have any questions, I'm always available. And pre-qualification is simple, but it's a really, really important first step. So just let me know when you're ready. Thanks, guys.